Hi, first graders and first grade parents. Miss Pagan here. Today is Monday, and we're going to talk about what we are going to do for writing today. Students should make sure that they have all of their materials that they'll need to write, and then we're going to talk about what our topic is going to be. Today, we're going to be working on an opinion writing. So this is something that you feel. This is how you feel about a topic. The question that I'm asking is, what are your favorite parts about spring? So thinking about the season of spring, what are some things that you like best about it? So students should think about all of the things that kind of come along with spring. The weather starts to change. It starts to get a little bit warmer than it was in the winter time. And I want students to think about what they might see outside, like flowers blooming or the leaves growing back on trees. Maybe things that you can eat because it's gotten a little bit warmer. So maybe eating some ice cream or popsicles, or things that you can do now that it's spring. Maybe riding your bike outside or swimming in a pool. So students should really start to think about what happens in the spring and then what they like the best. After they've thought about some ideas, students will be ready to work on their picture. For their picture today, students should be, of course, writing the date, which would be a 5/18/2020, their name and their number. And students should take about 10 to 12 minutes to work on a picture of some things that they like to do in the springtime when the weather starts to get warmer. What do they like to do? What do they like to see? What are the best parts about spring? So they should again take about 10 to 12 minutes to draw as many details as they can, because the more details they have, the better their writing's going to be. The more ideas they're going to have to pull from to put in their writing. After their picture, they're going to start to think about their topic sentence. An opinion writing, we always introduce our opinion in the first sentence so that we know what the details are going to be. So we want to make sure that the topic sentence, again, introduces the topic that we're writing about. Because we are writing about our favorite parts about spring, we want to make sure that the topic sentence includes that idea somewhere in there. So I wrote up a few different choices that students can choose from. Again, they only need to choose one. The first one says, there are many, and there's a blank. So students might say something like, there are many wonderful things about spring, or there are many great parts about spring. So again, answering part of the question in that topic sentence, making sure that they use that same language. Let me tell you, so students could say, let me tell you about my favorite parts about spring, or let me tell you about the best parts about the season of spring, something along those lines. Students could choose, in my opinion, there are. So again, they could say, in my opinion, there are many wonderful parts about spring. Or, I think there are, with a blank. So again, something about their favorite parts about spring. I think there are amazing things that happen in the springtime, or I think there are many amazing parts about spring. So students should go ahead and choose one topic sentence starter. After they've chosen it, they need to make sure that they share it out loud so that it makes sense, and so that they make sure that they are addressing part of the question about the favorite parts about spring, that should be mentioned somewhere in their topic sentence. After they've gone and shared it out loud and it makes sense, they can go ahead and write their topic sentence on the line. After they've written it, they're of course going to do the quick checks that we've been doing this whole year, checking for a capital letter at the beginning, finger space in between their words, a period at the end of their sentence, a comma if necessary, and then whisper reading to make sure that it makes sense and that all their letters have been placed nicely on the line and that they haven't forgotten anything. After they've written their topic sentence, we're now going to move on to the details. So again, this is where students can refer back to their picture, because their picture hopefully had a lot of details about the great parts of spring, so that they can just pull from their picture to write their details. So students will again choose one sentence starter. they can choose to start, to begin with, or first. So all of these will have a comma because these are all transitional words. So we want to make sure that we put a comma after each set of transitional words. And then students need to come up with one detail from their picture. So for example, if students drew pictures of flowers blooming, they might say something like, to start, lots of flowers bloom in the sun. Or they could talk about something that they like to do. Let's say, for example, students drew a picture of them swimming in a pool. Students might say, to begin with, I'm able to go swimming in a pool because it's hot. So again, they need to pull from their picture to come up with that first detail sentence. After they have thought about their sentence and shared it with somebody out loud, they can go ahead and write their detail one sentence after their topic sentence. After they're done, they're going to go ahead and do those 4 quick checks again, checking for a capital letter, finger space between each word, a period and a comma, because they'll be using transitional words, and then whisper reading to make sure it makes sense and that their letters are nicely on the line. So by the end of today, students should have a picture with lots of details about things that they like about spring. Students should have their topic sentence introducing their opinion, and then a first detail sentence talking about one of the things that they drew in their picture. So by the end of today, a picture and 2 sentences. Tomorrow we'll move on to our other 2 details and then finish up with our conclusion. So if you have any other questions about your writing today, don't hesitate to reach out to me or your child's teacher, and happy writing.